This video brought to you in part by these fantastic Patreons. Patreons are the lifeblood and the backbone of this channel and help with cool things like the giveaway in the description. But let's get into the video. Greetings, masters, and welcome to the channel. I am the Shotgun Shogun. Not enough Nobus for you? Well, get ready to follow some GudaGuda particles right to the hard streets of Kyoto. The city is infested with an army of chibi Nobus, and, well, we're the only ones that can stop them. Shop items, free servants, and a battle for supremacy? Sounds like a good time to me. This time around, we are going to get a new event mechanic, and it pits brother against brother, sister against sister, master against master. JK, you're all going to join the Shogunate because you really want those sweet hearts and Lanugos. The Battle of Influence is a system where the Shinsengumi battle it out with the Oda Shogunate, not the Shotgun Shogunate, or that would be a pretty one-sided victory right there. Masters will need to pick a side and battle to see who can gather more influence. Don't worry though, because you can switch sides and actually you're going to kind of need to get everything in the event. So there are going to be 3 battles and an epilogue battle. Each one of these will unlock after the previous one. So they're all going to be free quests as well. So hope you got your tools ready because farming is going to be huge here. But let's hop into the general stuff before we get into the farming. So there's definitely going to be a grail in this event, and let me just say my Gramps is very, very happy about that. You want some bonus servants? We got you covered, baby. 100% attack bonus is going to go to Okita, Nobu, Hijikata, and Cha-Cha. 80% good enough for you? Well, you got Emiya, Tesla, the Prezi King, Edison, and both Mysterious Heroines X and X Alter. Don't have any of those? It's okay. What about Helena, Ku, Medusa, Medea, or Blackbeard? Because they're all going to get 50% increased damage. You are going to have 3 different shop items as well, and these are going to drop regardless of the side that you pick, so not really a big deal on that one. You've got the Koban, you got Gold Dust, and you got some sen. It's Iraku sen, but I'm gonna probably butcher that name, so sorry about that. We're gonna just call it cash money for the future reference here. So you got Koban, you got Gold Dust, and you got cash money. These are going to be your event currencies. 3,000 Koban will net you 2 copies of Castle of the Sun, 10 Scarabs, 20 Lamps, 20 Knights medals, and some gold monuments. 2850 Gold Dust is going to net you 2 more copies of that Castle in the Sun, 10 roots, 20 ghost lanterns, 30 hero proofs, and some silver pieces. You can also trade up on the Kobans here at a 10-to-1. Cash money will have 1 copy of the CE, which means that you can limit break this just from the shop, but also 30 spinal fluid, 30 chains, and the standard fare of 100 of each XP card and 20 of each foe. So I mentioned the CE, but didn't really go into it. For event CEs, you're going to have 2 different ones. Castle of the Sun is going to be from the shop. This one's going to increase your crit strength, star drop rate, and your NP gauge by 25%. Limit broken is going to net you 20% to both crit strength and star drop with a 40% starting NP gauge, which is a little shy of being able to drop that waiver insta NP, so there's that to keep in mind. It's a really weird spot. 40% starting is a little odd. This is also going to increase your Shinsengumi and Oda points by 30 to 60%. As always, these are going to be your top priority shop items, hands down. Now, I also mentioned a second CE, and this is the Wolves of Mibu. 8% effectiveness to both quick and buster. You're going to be netting 3 passive crit stars as well. Beef this up to 10% to both and 4 stars per turn on limit break. This is also going to increase the attack of all of your allies by 50 to 100% respectively. This is going to be huge for clearing things throughout the event. This also comes from the point ladder. You remember the point ladder, right? From the GudaGuda event that we just had? Yep, well, get ready for another one. And this one is actually different based on which side you pick in the Great Master Civil War. You will net a copy of this at 100, 300, and 800,000 points. One thing to note here is that if you do pick the Shogunate to back during the initial 3 fights, you will not be able to get this CE to drop during the free quests. You will, however, be able to get Castle in the Sun. To get this to drop during the initial 3 fights, you will need to go with the Shinsengumi. However, you will be able to get both CEs to drop during the mop-up battles following the 3 fights. You can also switch sides, as I had mentioned previously. Now, there are also going to be 3 gotcha CEs as typical. Demon King of the 6th Heaven. This is going to increase your buster performance as well as NP damage by 15 to 20%. Not only that, but it's going to increase that Koban drop. Spring Wind Promenade is going to increase your NP gain and reduce damage taken, which is actually pretty nice, as taking less damage is always good. This is going to increase your gold dust drops, however. Last will be the Flower of High Society, and that art is just so good. It's going to increase your quick and arts performance, but you're just going to use this to increase your cash money drops, really. Before we get into the different sides though, let's talk about Cha-Cha, because that's what you really want to know about. How do you get her? So for starters, you are going to need to clear the main quest. You will also need to pick a side in the faction battle. Once you have cleared these main quests, bam, she joins your party. Easy peasy. However, you're going to need to get some additional items from the ladder to ascend and max her out. You're going to have to unfortunately grind both ladders if you want to fully max her out. That's right. Regardless of what side you pick, you're going to have to switch at some point, usually typically during the end. And if you're looking to finish both ladders, this is going to be 2 million points. Not a problem, right? Now, this is where we are going to branch off into 2 paths, the Oda Guide and the Shinsengumi side. So if you're picking the Shinsengumi, you can hop to that part, which I'll have linked directly in the description, but realistically, you're going to need to do both of these, so you might as well listen to it. So you picked the Might of the Shogunate to back. Well, get ready for a plethora of hearts and Lanugos. For the latter, you are going to get 5 bronze, silver, and gold apples, 26 million QP, 920 mana prisms, 10 hearts, 15 Lanugos, 2 summon tickets, and 1 lore. You're also going to get 3 copies of Wolves of Mibu, as well as 4 Ranjatai, which you will need to ascend Cha-Cha, and I probably butchered that. Sorry. Now I'm going to break down the Shogunate side for each of the battles. For the sake of time though, I'm only going to be covering the hardest 40 AP nodes, as otherwise we're going to be here for a really long time. We're going to be here for a long time regardless, but let's get into it. Let's start off with Battle 1. The 40 AP Taisho node will be recommended level 80 and is going to be your most difficult farming node for this round. This will be coming with sabers and a lone assassin. Your first round is going to be 3 sabers with about 20k HP. So as always, Arash will make short work of this. Your second wave will be a single 120k assassin with a 24k saber. You will be able to make short work of the saber, and you can bring a solid caster to burn down the assassin. Now the third wave is going to be a bit rough, 272k Okita flanked by 270k sabers. This is going to be rough until you get a few copies of Wolves of Mibu to beast up that attack damage. You will want to bring an AoE archer to bring down the side sabers and a solid single target archer to hopefully drop Okita before she slices through your line. One of the great things is that you can farm Knight's medals here. It's been a bit since we've seen these drop, and they should be dropping around 43%, with the tar dropping at 28%. You will also be snagging all 3 shop currencies here, so I would suggest running full shop currencies to start with so that you can get those castle CEs faster. You have plenty of time to gather points near the end of the event. Moving into Battle 2, this time you're looking at a mix of berserkers and casters. Thankfully, riders are going to be just as good at taking down berserkers as they are at taking down casters. Your first wave is going to be some beefy berserkers ranging from 21k to 26k HP. Second round is going to be a 30k berserker and a 118k caster. So if you got Golden Boy Kentucky Rider, this will be a perfect wave for him to strut his stuff. The last wave will be 2 74k berserkers alongside a 262k caster. This one's going to be tricky because if you ignore those berserkers, they are going to lay waste to your team, but you're definitely going to want to take out that caster as well. Bringing a Drake should make short work out of the last wave for sure. Again, like the previous node and all of the nodes moving forward, you're going to get a mix of all 3 shop drops, but you're going to be snagging crystals and lamps on this one at a rate of 45% on the crystals and 16% on the lamps. For the third battle, you are looking at a mix of riders, sabers, and casters, making it really tough to plan. unless you just throw double Merlin Raikou at it. The first wave is two 18k sabers with a 20k rider. Second wave is going to be a 127k caster with a 24k rider, which again is pretty much an easy wave for Rider Kentucky. Your last wave is going to be a 246k caster with a 72k rider and a 71k saber. This one is going to be a bit of a rough mix, but if you bring a beefy AoE archer, they should be able to take down the saber pretty easy and then follow up on the rider, leaving you with just the caster to burn down. When you beast this node, you will be snagging medals, scarabs, and pages. That's right, doesn't get much better than that. You are looking at around 16% on the scarabs, 33% on the medals, and 83% on the pages, though I'll believe it when I see it. If that is the case, then this is going to be heaven. Now, without further ado, let's hop into the Shinsengumi side. First off, let's talk about the ladder. You will be getting the same rundown of items on this side as you did on the Nobu side, but you will be replacing the prisms for friend points and the hearts for gallstones and the Lanugos for tearstones of blood. This ladder will also be where you pick up the solar fans used to buy your extra copies of Cha-Cha. For the battles, you will be getting all three shop currencies like the Nobu side. You also have a chance for that Wolves of Mibusi. Battle 1 is going to be archers and a lone rider. One 21k archer flanked by two 18k archers awaits you in the first wave. Your second wave is going to be a 23k archer with a 120k rider. Now, capping this off is a wave of archers, one 270k flanked by two 71k archers. This one is going to be really fun for anybody who has either flavor of the Lancer Artoria or Karna. Easy clap, boys. If you're looking for gears and Lanugos, this is going to be the spot. 17% drop rate on Lanugos, 43% chance on those gears. Now moving into battle 2, riders with a berserker and an archer tossed into the mix. First wave is going to be two 18k riders and a 24k rider, easy peasy. Second wave, 28k rider with a 135k berserker, which should actually be pretty easy to blow up because by now you've gotten at least like one, maybe two copies of Wolves of Mibu, so you're going to be beasting out some damage. Third wave will be a 249k archer with two 67k riders. You will be getting claws and pages here, but they're both at around 20% drop rate, so not amazing farming. Third battle is going to be another very mixed class fight. 3 Zerkers on the first wave does make it a little bit easier than the Nobu node, and they only range from 18 to 19k, so shouldn't be too hard. Second wave will be a 24k archer with a 118k rider, which again should be easy assassin bait. Your last wave is going to be 2 Zerkers with a single rider, 258k on that rider and 72k on the Zerkers. This is very favorable node for assassins as there's only a lone archer, but at 24k that's not really too impressive. This will also drop gears, crystals, and scales. Scales will be dropping around 18%, crystals at 30, and gears at about 38%. So this should be a great node to farm if you're looking for these 3. So now that we have the faction specific nodes out of the way, let's talk about what's next. Seeing as you need to clear both ladders to finish up Cha-Cha, it would be kind of crappy if you didn't have a way to do that, right? Well, that's where the cleanup quests come in. This is where you're going to be able to farm individual shop currencies as well as points for both sides. You will have both the Nobu and the Shinsengumi nodes, and each of these are going to have 3 different 40 AP levels. They will also drop both CEs as well. For the Nobu nodes, you will have the 40 AP Hatamoto, Taisho, and Daimo nodes. Hatamoto will net you cash money currency as well as crystals and tar. This will be fairly easy as the second wave assassin is only 72k and the Lancer on the last wave is 124k, and by now you should have quite a few copies of Wolves of Mibu, making these last waves cakewalk. Tar is around 28% drop with crystals coming in around 44%. Should be a great node to farm these both if you need them while you clean up your bronze shop. Next is going to be the 40 AP Taisho node, and this one will be dropping gold dust along with medals and lamps. This one's going to come with a mix of sabers and casters, 120k caster on the second wave, 250k on the third. Medals will be dropping at 45% and lamps around 16%. So if you need medals and gold dust, this is a fantastic spot. Third 40 AP quest is going to be packing all Zerkers plus one saber, a 158k Zerker on the second wave. However, you have a 445k saber flanked by a 112k and 130k Zerker on the last wave. This last node is definitely a yikes. You're going to want to bring a lot of very heavy hitting AoE monsters with a few wolf CEs in your group to clear this one out quick. You will be getting crystals and claws here at a rate of 26% on the claws, 45% on the crystals. Now, you also have the 3 on the Shinsengumi side as well. So if you're capped out on the Nobu ladder and you need to snag some points here, you can pop over and farm up the rest of your shop currencies on this side. First up is the 40 AP Ryoshi node. This is going to be your bronze currency, and a pretty easy mix of riders and a 124k lancer shouldn't be too terrible. Scales and pages are going to be your ascension materials here at around 10% chance on the scales with 28% chance on the pages. Not the best page node, but it gets better, trust me. The Taishi node, the Shinsengumi Gold Dust node, archers and casters, oh my. The only one that isn't an archer is your second wave Sphinx, so this should be pretty easy to manage with lancers, giving you advantage on your last wave. With that 248k archer, gears and scarabs will be your prizes here. 12% on the scarabs with a nice 50% drop rate on those gears. Delicious. Now, the last one for the Shinsengumi, and this one is going to be the one that a lot of you are really going to like. Riders with a Berserker boss. Now, riders are kind of rough, seeing as the amount of AoE assassins is pretty low, but the last wave is the one that is going to be a little scary. You've got two 107k riders next to a 478k Berserker. But thankfully, a well-placed Jolter with double Merlins should make very easy work of that Zerker. And everyone's got that, right? Easy clap, boys. F in the chat for that Zerker boss. This will be netting you pages and Lanugos, 29% on the Lanugos and a 46% chance drop on those pages. Now, you will have a final node that will allow you to farm both ladder points at the same time. So if you come in close to the end of the event and you need to cap yourself out on points, this is going to be the node to go to. Of course, like always, it's going to be a little bit rougher. It's going to have a good mix of everything, but this will be where you're going to want to farm up those points if you need them. There is also a really awesome challenge quest against Hijikata. I'm actually really excited to try my hand at this because it's just going to be real rough. This dude is going to probably put Salter to shame during the memorial quests. And I'm also really interested to see what other people come up with. So that is just a metric ton of stuff. I'm sure that I forgot things. I'm sure I didn't explain everything perfectly well. I will have guides out on both of the characters, but there you go. That is the long-winded overview of everything there is and what you need to farm. I personally may pick the Shinsengumi side, mostly because I want to stick it to the Shogunate because I am the real Shogunate that should be in charge, but also for the chances at the Wolves of Mibu CEs, because those are going to be very, very important to clear the harder content. So even though your drop rate is going to be astronomically low, like it always is, you still have a chance at them. So that might be the best way to go, because you can always pick up those Hearts and Lanugos later in the event. So there you have it, Masters. It's a lot of stuff. It's going to be a new, interesting mechanic. I'm really looking forward to it. But let me know in the comments how prepared you guys are for this event and what side you are going. Are you going for the Shogunate, or are you going to join me on the Shinsengumi to bring down the Shogunate and institute myself as the real Shogun of this? Anyways, guys, I would like to take this time to thank all the Patreons who help make this channel possible. You guys are the real MVPs. If you would like to join them, there is a link down in the description. You can go ahead and sign up for any tier that you are comfortable with. It does give you access to early recordings of First Impressions Fridays, chill streams, work streams, specific extra giveaways, things like that. But if you would like to help support the channel, just hit that subscribe button, smash that bell notification, drop me a like and a comment, and I will catch you next time, Masters. Take it easy. Peace.